This is The Fix with me, Karima Brown. Now we take a look at the front pages of the weekend newspapers and what made news headlines this week with senior political reporter at EWN, Theto Mahlakoana. Theto, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The paper's full of really exciting stories.
Yeah.
Peter, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, okay. But we're going to start. We're going to come to the city press lead. The Sunday Times does Jeff Khadebe doing an incredibly strange deal in South Sudan on his own.
Yeah, I just want to hold this up to viewers. This is, of course, the story that we're talking about.
Read it twice until you realise that he's doing it as the minister without anybody in the cabinet knowing anything about it.
And the funny thing is, Theto, he claims that he has legitimate right to do it because it's a feasibility study.
And also a feasibility study that is not the first time that is being conducted. The story says there's been 2 other governments which have tried to do what he's trying to do in South Sudan and found that actually there's no viability for it. So why is our money being thrown down the drain pursuing this? And not only that, but I find strange that Treasury has not stepped in to stop this from happening.
But what we also just need to remember is that Cyril Ramaphosa also spent a lot of time in South Sudan, so he'll know quite a lot about what Jeff is doing.
In fact, it goes way back because it's Thabo Mbeki that, of course, was critical to the relationship building and the creation of South Sudan and his political advisor, Mujanga Gumbi. There's a lot of talk about senior ANC people and senior government people from the previous administration and the current one that have vested interest because as the sun is setting on mining industries, whether people like it or not, the sun is rising on oil and gas all over Africa.
It is, but I think this is great that we have this article now because before more money is spent, questions can be raised. And Konita did a great job getting the story out as soon as she did. And also the problem that I find is the fact that Treasury says do the feasibility study, then come back if you need more funding. And the fact that CEF, the Central Energy Fund, is also standing back on this whole process while SSF seems to be in the front lines of pushing this project I find that also so mysterious and bewildering that we live with this cloud of state capture. We live in a very precarious time economically. We do not have money, yet money can be spent in this manner without any of those entities which have been formed for that specific reason of monitoring and ensuring that our monies are not wasted by ministers who go on wild expeditions. Nobody is doing anything. Even given the pressure that the CEF is under currently, you remember the board shenanigans they had last year where the board was shook up and the fact that SSF still has a lot of answers to give us as a country over our strategic oil reserves as well. You just wonder, when does it come to an end?
Absolutely.
Actually, the answer is it doesn't.
Yes.
Is the truth. But now, City Press's lead is... and I think did you break the story?
Well, I didn't break it, but I just happened to catch on to it before everyone else.
The Minister of Intelligence and Ace Magashula, the Secretary General of the ANC, are at war with each other. She claims that he interfered with the ANC parliamentary list that they handed in, which has been so controversial. Tell our listeners, our viewers, a little more about what she's saying he did.
Peter, the biggest problem with this story is that none of us, and I spoke to a lot of colleagues in the media, I spoke to a lot of colleagues who are across the platform in politics, to ask, have you seen this image and this social media attack that is allegedly being peddled by Letsatsi Duba? And no one has seen it. Now, the ANC insists, I spoke to Dakota Lochete during the week, who insisted that this is indeed true, that there are these messages out there that she is sending out to political players, to media, saying that the Secretary General did indeed interfere with that list. Now, come back to the fact that she now wants or has written to Lutuli House according to the story. They claimed last week to us on record at EWN that they will be hauling her before the top 6, where she'll have to account for her actions. And now, in the same article, the same Secretary General and spokesperson say that, in fact, they have not received this request for her to meet. So what exactly is happening? Is she going to be held accountable, as you claimed earlier on, or is she now needing to go and beg to meet with you in order to resolve this issue? But of course, this is deeper. We sat here and we had a conversation about this rebellion that was being planned by by state security agents. And a lot of it has to do with that and the fact that she wanted to introduce the skills reviews, to review each and every unit and what they were doing within their mandates. And all of that ties to what she's trying to do.
What did she actually say Mahlakoana did?
Well, they claim that she says he was verifying the ANC list in a hotel room, whereas the photograph that was seen of him was with IEC officials, where he was double-checking spelling errors on names and whether everything ID numbers, and whether everything was as should be. And it's an easy thing to confirm, of course. We can have the IEC confirm that indeed that photo consists of some of its staffers in it, and it's an easy thing to do if the ANC really wanted to clear the SG's name. But that is not being done either. But instead, this is being dragged on to such proportions that it's now become so muddled, even including what the State Security Minister is trying to do, or her battle with the public protector, because it goes that deep.
Yeah, I think the question of this backlash in the security forces is one of the key drivers of this version of the war that is actually raging in the African National Congress. My interpretation is that Cyril Ramaphosa wants his new minister to clean out the security services. They are, fighting back. Now, remember, Busisi Mkhwebane denied that she was a spy, but she had worked for state security. And she, of course, is going after the original SARS 3, which is Ivan Pillay and Johan van Lochenberg. Exactly. And they are actually appearing before her tomorrow. And it's all part of the same fight, I think, isn't it?
It is. It is a part of the same fight. And also it bothers me that there has not been resoluteness on the part of either State Security Agency or the Public Protector's Office, or even the President he's the President. At the end of the day, you'd expect him to come in and say, hold on, let's get everyone in one room. What is the progress of this rogue unit investigation? And how is that different from the Hawks deciding to drop all those charges from what Sean Abrams tried to do? I mean, that legal process had already gone underway, and they tried to charge Mr. Previn Gordhan over that supposed rogue unit.
And they couldn't.
Absolutely. Now, why waste more resources pursuing the same thing? Get everyone in the same room, get the answers, give the country peace.
Yeah, I think give the country peace is a good way to end it. That's, of course, Theto speaking to us. That's your fix for the week. Take care and goodbye.